Good morning and welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. I'm hoping that I'm being heard. I'm on a new computer. Okay, live. I have 1, 2, 3 people. Thank you. I'm on a new laptop and trying to work this all out, all of the kinks and foibles that we encounter daily in our lives. This morning's talk is about choosing unity within, and it's actually being driven by the energy of the full moon and the equinox. As we gather and focus on balancing, it's been kind of a very interesting, energetic week for me. Perhaps each of you have done as well. Good morning, Susan, Kristen. So far I can read people on the sidebar. Hopefully that will continue. So these energies are bringing up a lot of things within us for review. And the review comes as a result of the balancing energies of Earth. So as we reach into this equinox, in the northern hemisphere, the divine feminine is moving into the Earth, rising on the southern hemisphere. So we're transferring energies in balance. And here in the northern hemisphere, we're in a period of being thankful or gratitude for what the Divine Mother has produced for us over the year to sustain us now through the winter. And for those who are in the southern hemisphere, they're coming out of their dark period and into the light and the promise of what the Divine Mother is going to bring forth for them after their period of stillness. So here we are around this planet sharing different energies with each other that we're not consciously aware of. They've happened as a natural process of the Earth and its relationship to the moon and the stars. And we live in places where we just focus on what's immediately around us. So what's coming up during these periods of equilibrium and balance is the things that are out of balance within us. So many of you may be experiencing or feeling some of that as you move through each day as get closer to the full moon. And what I want you to do is to try and look deep within yourself to find those incongruities with who you are and what you think you are, and put them back into a proper perspective. What's going to happen is we're going to be reminded of change, how much change that we're going to have to really go through in order to achieve a new expression of unity. Many of us are unbalanced right now. And as we look in the world around us, we realize how unbalanced that is. Just read the news, look at the TV, walk down the street, go to the supermarket, and realize how distressed people are. That distress is all imbalance. And in order for us to evolve graciously, we have to tap into a part of ourselves that we're not very fond of looking at, and that's who we have been. Not just in the way, far back past of our lives, but who we have been throughout our whole lifetime, and realize that many of the attitudes, the philosophies, the teachings that we've received have not been in our best or highest interest. And we've followed them, and we've been led by others to agree to them. And there's an incongruity with our hearts now, as I spoke about last week about integrity, and we're feeling this misalignment within us. And we need to continue to look out for these moments of change as opportunities. And we're being continually guided from our higher self, our angels, our guides, and continually encouraged and protected as we move through this. However, sometimes it's not going to feel all that comfortable. And I say that from my own perspective, because that's a lot of what I've been going through this week, to the point where yesterday I was just totally exhausted and went to bed very early. However, that also means I got up very early. And but it was a joy. I did get to talk with somebody that I haven't spoken with in a while, and it was very encouraging. And this was perhaps 3 o'clock in the morning. Around it was 5:55 was when I looked at the clock finally, and I looked up the angel number for 555, and it was really confirming all of these patterns and changes that we're going to go through. And it was about changes. Let me see. It was 555 tells of significant and necessary changes happening in your life that have been divinely inspired and guided. These changes will bring about long-awaited circumstances and results, and will fully align you with your true divine life purpose and soul mission. And so this has been my struggle, and the struggle that I talk with others about is, how do we define what our true purpose is? And then once we define it, how do we align with it? And how do we begin to walk that journey and honor that without feeling guilty, without feeling a sense of loss, a sense of self? Because we're highly invested in life. This is what we know. This is what we do. We're highly spiritually divine beings, but we're in this physicality, and we need to live more in unity with each other. The separation has ripped us apart, not only on the external, but within us. And we're torn, we're divided within us. And we need to come back to integrating that process. And last week I spoke of integrating. The quote I made last week was, integrating our many separate selves and living in integrity is a key force in moving beyond the illusions to that vaster self, which dwells within our hearts, where conditions are not found because they don't have a support system. And so those are conditions, and we are not conditions, and we are not conditional beings. We are eternal beings, whether you believe that or not. It's not ours to sit here and perhaps belabor the, oh, well, this journal says this and this philosophy says that. They're all perfectly, but they're also perfectly describing the separation, how each of us have come to follow certain leaders, or we have come to listen to many teachers, and we've chosen their way over someone else's. And we've blindly disregarded our own inner truth, an ability to recognize truth when we hear it. And so many of you may look at me and say, well, I don't believe a word he's saying. And that's perfectly fine. All I'm asking you to do is to look into your own heart and own what truth you feel is there. And know that truth will always align with light, with love, and with peace. That's what truth aligns with. Everything else is a separation from that. That's what happened to us. We came from a place of peace, of light, and love, and we entered into these physical bodies, and we have forgotten the expansiveness and the profound beauty and love from which we came. And in the meantime, we've tried to recreate that in some way, shape, or manner through our minds and our power of the mind. And we have created that in some areas, but we have created as much, or if not more, distress, frustration, anger, and hurt. And so now that has to come back together, has to be healed. So we have these two balancing halves, like the globe, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, the yin, the yang. All of those symbols of balance and equanimity. We have to do that within our own hearts. So we're going to be perhaps a little uncomfortable about this. I know I have my moments. We need to look within ourselves and realize what needs to be let go of. Not an easy process, because much of what we let go of has been a part of our lives. And you say, how can I let that go? And I don't mean to just throw it out in the trash. Respect it for what it was. Respect it for the teachings that it brought you. And if you need to forgive part of that, then do that. But if it no longer serves you in this moment of change, of becoming truly who you are in your heart, then we just need to say goodbye. We're going to do this about past life experiences. We're going to do this about things that just happened yesterday. And as we do that, we're going to find ourselves in sort of a period of emptiness. And I have this discussion with many people about that emptiness. Where do you go from here? Now that you've come to this realization that this no longer works for me, this no longer serves me, this no longer has resonance with me. I used to like something, and now it doesn't, it's meaningless to me. Where am I? Who am I? These are the questions that all of this stirs up in us. So if you're feeling those things, don't feel alone, because it's perfect. It's what's happening to us, around us. And I'm seeing if I can find if anybody's saying anything here. And okay, just know you're there. It's just a matter of this is a distraction for me, but that's okay. So I will let that be. Thought perhaps I could interface with you and talk about what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, it doesn't scroll by itself. With that said, I apologize for that distraction. But the angel number 555 is basically a number from our angels. It comes, the meaning. It's about. What I'm going to read you is from Joanne Scribe's angel numbers, which I love. And it's a message from our angels that it is time to let go of the old that is no longer positively serving you. Trust that they will be replaced with better. Release old doubts, fears, and perceived obstacles. And if feeling any fears of or confusion, ask for support and guidance from your angels. Know that your angels are always with you. And that's what we're being asked to do, is we're asked to unify ourselves within our greater self. But we have to start here on the third dimension level and really listen to what no longer serves us. In that process, people will become upset with us, and people may walk out of our lives or become angry with us. And so know that in this process, we're not trying to hurt anybody. We're just trying to own who we truly are and honor everybody else in the best way we can. But we'll also find how many people are distracting us from our divine purpose. And that they may be well-meaning. They may be people we love in our lives. They may be family members, children, parents, husbands and wives. And so those we love and want to keep in our lives, we're going to have to be a little more compassionate with and understanding and realize that my love for them, or our love for them, is not the bargaining point. What's really happening is we're choosing to expand into a potential of who we are that may make them uncomfortable. And so we have a responsibility to them to try to make them feel still loved and cared about, but not allow their issues to stop us from being who we are. This is a conversation similar to what I spent at 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning. And this is about unifying ourselves. It really isn't about them. And if they love us truly, they will begin to understand as we change and get rid of a lot of the stuff that bothers us, because we'll automatically become nicer, more loving, more complete, more whole beings. And our energy fields will change to be more encompassing and more respectful. It may not feel like that, but in truth, that's what happens. As we unify, we become more whole. So what I spoke about last week was wholeness. Whole and complete. Integrity is whole and complete. How do we come back to that? We begin to start honoring ourselves and not worrying about what everybody else is going to say and think. Know that they are going to say and think something. And so be prepared for that. But know that for some people, they're going to be moving away. And for some, they're going to be becoming closer. And in that closeness, they become part of our unified field of energy. And this is what's going to happen to the world at large as we, each one of us, do this individually. the situation around the world can't be addressed from the world view, from outside of it. It has to be done from the inner cellular structure of it. And that's you and I. That's you and I working on our stuff to rid ourselves of all of this karmic and genetic damage that keeps us from being these loving, kind, radiant beings and live in a world of balance and harmony. We're going to have to listen. We're going to have to spend time in self-reflection. How you choose to do that is your choice. And hopefully you will be guided by your guides to where to go, how to do that, perhaps different times of the day. You may change your diet. You may change a lot of things. And start to question, well, why am I doing this? I never wanted to do this before. I know that if it's aligning with your empowerment and your sense of self is improving, honor that and know that's you in your highest divine state of being, allowing the messages to be created. The intentions important, that we recreate unity within us. And as we do that, everything around us will respond. It's the natural law and order of energy. As our energy changes, the energy around us changes. So again, doesn't mean we have to throw away everything that we love or hold dear to us, but we're just realigning our level of love, and we'll begin to embrace more deeply all of those things that we do love, and at a different level and from a different viewpoint. And all of the things that don't serve us will be either intentionally moved out of the field of resonance, or it will just move away, drop away of itself, because there will be nothing holding on to that anymore. We collect things, including energies, and some of the energies we collect are not good for us. It's time now to balance that within us. Each one of us are responsible for that. Are there people with magic wands who can touch you and say, you are whole and complete? I'm not going to say there isn't. But the responsibility really lies upon us to say, I'm ready, I'm willing, and the life that I'm living no longer serves the highest purpose of who I am. So there was another reading this morning that came up from Natalie Glasson, who was in United Kingdom, the Sacred School of Omna, and she did a channeling of Archangel Michael. And I'm just going to read a little section of that because it ties in with this concept of separation and unity, of integrity, of us uniquely working within ourselves to create the change rather than worrying about what we're going to do out there, outside of us. The change needs to begin within. So she wrote, this is part of the channeling from Archangel Michael. Within your being, you have hidden an energy of separation. This energy may have been created in your current lifetime or your past lifetime. However, it was most likely created before you entered into the rebirth cycle of the earth. Therefore, you have carried your inner energy of separation with you throughout all your lifetimes on the earth. So much so, it exists at the core of your being and is an energy from which you create without realizing it. When you contemplate that there may be an energy of separation within you, hiding at the core of your being, you open yourself to realizing that you have the power to discover, explore, and heal this illusion you have been holding onto. It is important to mention that most souls upon the earth hold the illusion of separation within their being. Separation is an illusion. It is also an energy that has become trapped and hidden within you, which simply needs to be recognized and released. Within your soul and essence is the energy and presence of integration. It can also be labeled unity, oneness, harmony, and connection. This energy of integration supports your existence on the inner planes and the earth. It is the divine flow of the Creator that supports your entire being. Integration is the essence of the Creator, as all that is the Creator exists in oneness and synthesis. When you access your inner energy of integration, you will recognize your ability to exist in harmony with every aspect of the Creator. This is a very powerful and inspirational way to live your life on earth. And so it just is a confirmation that the power lies within us, that the separation is part of the illusion that we have created. It is an amazing process to face and respect ourselves and realize that we have been the ones who chose to carry on and fulfill this illusion of separation. And as we just do it gently, releasing some of the parts that are coming up, and you won't have to go looking for them. Believe me, they will arise. Be gentle with yourself and know that you have the power. You are the power. You are the energy of that transformation. And in that process, we all will feel better about ourselves. And as we feel better about ourselves, we'll see it in the faces and the actions of others who are also doing this. And together, we will come back into balance, like Mother Earth at the equinoxes with the light. We'll come into balance, cohesive resonance, and the world will be changed. I thank you all for coming and showing up here, listening to my talks. It's part of my healing my separation within and stepping out and being seen and being heard by others who are working on their paths alongside of me. So I look at you all the time as being the family that I walk with. And I'm available if you need to communicate with me. There's all kinds of ways you can do that. And I thank you for being here today. I give you great blessings for the equinox and for the full moon. May each of you find an abundance of self-love within your hearts, that it becomes more important than all of what outside of us can offer us. With that, I'm complete. I thank you. I love you. And may each of you be divinely led this coming week. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.